sometimes I start to think about how do I honor his sacrifice. See, it doesn't matter how good I try to be, there is still this sin inside of me. I struggle and I wrestle with this conflict and war, but all the while, God's perfect love is still so pure. Sometimes I think we fail to recognize the weight of Christ's sacrifice because of the state sin puts us in. If only we could see how dirty and unworthy we are in comparison to how pure and holy he has always been. If the wages of sin means death, then if I was to rebel against God just one time, then there is this mortal debt that I would owe. And if God was to turn his face against sin, then that would make me his eternal foe. See, when we sin, we reject God. We smack him in the face and try to find anything to take his place. We fill it with sin, stacked on sin, stacked on sin. But God, by his great mercy, matches that with grace, stacked on grace, stacked on grace, when he was in his right to leave us alone in the first place. We look to things like gluttony and depravity, meaning we ignore the one whose love is pure. So, how do we honor his sacrifice? God could have left us alone a long time ago, but he is not the type of man who demands what we owe. Instead, he said, I have loved you from the beginning, but now I send my son because you keep on sinning. The King of the world sent down from heaven, leaving an everlasting impression. The great I am to be the sacrificial lamb, the greatest sacrifice of all, so that we could be saved. So when we struggle with a heart that can't seem to behave, we can still be forgiven. But when God is fighting for all that is bad, evil and wrong, which side do you belong? See, I have to sacrifice those attractions and temptations that the enemy puts before me, so then I can just be with the one who says, you are worthy. The nails of your rebellion was smashed into his hands and into his feet. God's perfect plan complete. The simplicity and the complexity of that moment in history meant that we can be free. This conflict and war, it is over. I surrender. I bow my knee and I say, Lord, I am yours. And this is your victory. So, how do you honor his sacrifice?